Around 2014, 2015 is when I started really noticing the hard push from the militant transgenders that were never pretty enough to like, and I think
your words, not mine. I can't get fired.
Yeah, it's that. This is all me. Blame it on the gay one.
Perfect, perfect. You're taking the bullets for me, bro.
Yeah, but that's really what it is. You know, it's a bunch of people that don't look like what they claim to be. You know, like you claim to be a woman, but you don't look like a woman, and you're mad because society just doesn't know you're a woman right off the bat. Well, that's not everybody else's problem. They didn't purposely misgender you. They weren't trying to disrespect you. It was an accident, and now you're in your feelings trying to make the lady at Victoria's Secret lose her job because she didn't realize that you were a woman. And like, it sounds like I'm joking when I say stuff like this, but in a lot of cases, that's what I've noticed it really is. It's people that don't look like what they identify as. And if you tell me, and then I choose to still misgender you, then that I understand as being disrespect. Yeah. But if I have no idea and it's an honest mistake, and then you won't shut up about it, and then at a point I just tell you, well, work harder, you know?
Work harder. Yeah. Oh, fuck.
I told one person that literally.
Like, you're lucky you don't have more black eyes, man. Like,
yeah, well, you know.
so when we say like certain crowds have tried to cancel you in comedy, what does that mean? Does that mean you don't get a gig, or they report you to Twitter and Instagram to try to get you deplatformed, or they boo you? Like, what does cancel mean? Because I think a lot of Republicans use this as the boogeyman, is like, oh, we're in cancel culture. If you're a Republican or you believe in free speech or you believe in God, like, they're going to try to cancel you. It's like, all right, well, what does that even really mean? So like when that happens to you, like a mob or a group of people come after you, is it in person, online, in the comedic scene? Like, what does that mean? Like, where is that
manifesting?
It's
kind of all of it, you know, because I do have a social media presence, so they will try to come after me there. And then they'll also start getting in contact with the clubs that I'm supposed to be performing at. If they don't get the response that they want from, why is somebody bugging me? Scam likely. Of course it is. That's all that calls me is scammers.
You and me both.
It's probably a friend or an ex. My phone knows. But they'll really, like, you know, and if they don't get the result they want from just telling the actual story, sometimes they'll make stories up for the clubs and try to say that, like, there was one time where I don't know who exactly was doing it, but it was after one of these situations where they were sending to the clubs that I make trouble at the clubs and I'll give the waitresses a hard time, and, like, you know, that I'm just basically a nightmare at the clubs. And
yeah, you look like a real sexist asshole.
Yeah, and
give me a break.
And then also, like, what's it called? That I'll write Yelp reviews, and it's like, I've been doing stand-up for 19 years. And at this time, you know, at the time that this was happening, it was probably 4 years ago, so 15 years. If that was what I was doing, the club owners would have heard about it from other club owners. They wouldn't have to hear about it from some random just sending a, you know, an anonymous email. And so it was very unsuccessful in that way. But as far as scaring certain organizations, like, I've had times where they have scared some people off, at least to a certain degree. There was a point where I was supposed to do a lot of gay pride events, and then those got canceled, which I was fine with, because the gay pride events, a lot of times they want you, just because you're gay, to, like, work super cheap or free. And it's kind of like, well, you're paying some, you know, has-been from the 80s or 90s, like 20 grand, 30 grand to headline your pride festival, but you can't find 1,000 for me. Like, for me, I've got to do it either free or for like $100. Like, why would I want to do that? So, like, you know, and in the beginning, it was like I would say stuff to that because I wanted to help the community. I wanted to, you know, have a presence in the community. But once I realized that was bullshit, then I started caring about that a lot less, where it was just sort of like, yeah, you guys are just kind of, you know, cheap.